So our final presentation tonight on the theme of Gary, of people helping people, is for the Friends of the Cemetery. We'll start off by saying I think it may be the only one, but I may be mistaken, Tad, that you did not oversee. But maybe you did. Maybe you did. So before I get to the prepared remarks, I'd just like to comment two things from the heart. And one is the Amos Mears building that was built at the cemetery grounds to have a conference room, offices for the cemetery, offices for our parks, and more importantly, a place so that when folks were coming in to pick a burial site, it was not in the maintenance garage with the smell of oil and the smell of gasoline, because that's not the way we want to treat families. That was a major accomplishment, a major benefit to the city that the Friends took on. And the second major accomplishment that the Friends took on was what occurred on Saturday, the encampment at Spring Grove Cemetery. That was 2 years in the planning, very, very deliberate and hard work over those 2 years by the Friends of the Cemetery. And my wife's father is buried there, so we go to the cemetery several times a year to decorate it. But it wasn't until I was there and interacted with the crowd that I realized that if you don't have somebody there, intern there, you may have no idea at all what that cemetery is and how beautiful it is and how maintained it is, and like a park setting. And to open that up through their diligent efforts, to open that up for the general public to come in for no other purpose than to see what all the cemetery has in office, will pay dividends in the city, and I thank you for that. Now to Barbara's prepared comments and perfect grammar. The Friends of the Cemetery is a nonprofit organization founded in 1997 that is dedicated to the beautification, preservation, maintenance, and appreciation of Spring Grove Cemetery, which was founded in 1883, and Old Town Graveyard, which was founded in 1818. The Friends work closely with the Medina City Cemetery Commission to implement the Spring Grove Master Plan. Significant projects have been accomplished by the Friends with the help of the City of Medina, various foundations and donors, and the Ed Mears Estate. Projects that they have undertaken thus far include the restoration of the 1884 Spring Grove Chapel, the construction of the Amos Mears Memorial Office Complex and parking lot. I would like to call your attention that Amos Mears is a previous inductee into the Chamber Hall of Fame. Additional undertakings include the construction and maintenance of the Hard-Edged Lake and refurbishment of the Old Lake, the construction of the first columbarium wall. We're working on a second one. The creation and maintenance of the Pat Mears Memorial Garden, the restoration of the mausoleum bronze door, the mausoleum stone restoration and installation of electric service to the mausoleum, the creation and installation of the backlit stained glass for the chapel, and the installation of the chapel garden in memory of Art Brydell. The construction and maintenance of the Soldiers Mound perennial garden, the annual tree planting, pruning, fertilization, and maintenance, the creation of the entry gate garden and irrigation, the new cemetery signage and fencing. They have purchased waste receptacles, watering cans, and park benches, and have installed flagpole lighting. They have restored 199 gravestones in the Old Town Cemetery, and they publish a biannual newsletter. Through the advocacy of the Friends of the Cemetery, Spring Grove Cemetery was recognized and listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2006. I hope you had the opportunity to attend the day-long Civil War encampment and reenactment events that the Friends organized and funded on Memorial Day as their contribution to the city's bicentennial celebration. As with everything they do, this was a gift to our community. As mayor of the city of Medina, it is truly an honor to be able to recognize this organization for all it does to support these city landmarks and to make them more inviting for the people of Medina. I appreciate the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce for presenting the Friends with this well-deserved recognition, and it is now my pleasure to introduce Teresa Merkel, the president of the Medina Friends of the Cemetery.
Thank you, Mayor Hanwell, and thank you for your support through the years. Just to set the record straight, no, Tad Coleman has never overseen us, but we'd love to have him on the board anytime. Whenever he has
I'll be there soon.
It's not in that capacity, we're something else. But on behalf of the Friends of the Cemetery, I want to thank the Greater Medina Chamber for induction into the 2018 Hall of Fame. This is a great honor for the Friends of the Cemetery organization, and being only the 7th organization to be inducted is quite a great distinction for us. It's very humbling to be amongst the other inductees and hearing all the wonderful things they've done through the years. The Friends of the Cemetery has been around for 21 years. Back when Mike Morris was the council president and Pam Miller was on city council is when we started. We've had great success, as the mayor mentioned, in fulfilling our mission, which is the beautification, the maintenance, and the historic preservation of Medina's 2 municipal cemeteries, Spring Grove and Old Town Graveyard. We started out in 1997 as a small group of folks who just wanted to see flowers planted and shrubs trimmed at both cemeteries. But through the years, thanks to our members and benefactors, we've given $1.5 million of restoration and improvements to the community. But this success would not have been possible without the generous support of the Letha House Foundation in the early years, and then in 2003, the gift of the Edward C. Mears estate. And I can't mention those, the House Foundation or the Mears estate without recognizing Kathy Carmody. Kathy served on the House Foundation and as well with Mr. Griesinger and Mr. Jones, PM Jones. And they always believed in us and in fact spurred the group on from the beginning. And then Kathy was actually the liaison between Ed Mears and the Friends. And without her, I'm sure we would not have received the Mears estate. Now, if I may, I'd like to introduce the Board of Trustees. And if you all would stand, they're all very shy. But I would, when I call your name, if you'll stand. First of all, I'm gonna do this for how long we've all been on there. Cynthia Sudnog, if you'll stand. Cynthia and I actually co-founded the Friends back in 1997. And Cynthia, this is a long way from thinking up, all we did was just write letters to people we knew and ask them if they'd be interested in joining a new group. Dennis Leach. Dennis is a charter member of the trustees. Jerry Gunner.
Go Colts.
Vicki Fleming. Linda Fenn. And Deborah Halleck. Those are all who are with us tonight, but Harold Waite and Paul Wood, neither could make it tonight, but they're also on our Board of Trustees. And I'd also like to recognize another person here by the name of John Gill. John now serves on our Emeritus Board. John recently stepped down from the Board of Trustees due to health issues, but he served the Friends Board with distinction for many years, and there's John. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention, it's such a happy evening, and this is rather sad, but our board has had the unfortunate circumstance of losing 3 longtime board members just in 1 year's time. And I'd just like to mention them: Helen Street, David Kellogg, and Bonnie Leach. And Bonnie was also a charter member of the trustees. Again, thank you for this great honor on behalf of the Friends, and thank you for this wonderful evening and the wonderful honor of being inducted.